So I'm not going to take up any of Ming-Li's time. We'll have Ming-Li
Hsieh.
Never say it. Theorizing ATM hacking and application of routine activity theory.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ming-Li Hsieh, Assistant Professor of Criminal Justice Program. Thanks, Karen and ORSP providing me this great opportunity to share my recent research. And this research has been published in International Journal of Cybercriminology that I co-author with another colleague, Dr. Kevin Wang, and he is at the University of South Florida. And given the time constraint, you just heard that, and the complexity issue about the cybercrime in nature and all the forensic stuff, so I won't try not to go to nitty-gritty about how to process cybercrime, forensic evidence, or other investigation information. But primarily today, I try to focus on three parts. First, give you basic framework about routine activity theory. Second, discuss a very high-profile case happened in Taiwan and why this case is so significant. And third, how can we actually apply a criminological theory to something happens in cyberspace? Okay, hopefully, you will learn some criminology and apply it to your daily life, and you will become an expert just like me, and then use it to analyze any potential crime event. So, routine activity theory is one of rational choice theory developed in the 1970s. Okay. Cohen and Felsen, they try to understand, well, how will street crime happen? At some location, some time, and how does it happen? Okay. So they analyze this kind of question and give us the three elements of crime. Okay. First, of course, someone will do it, right? So we have motivated offenders out there. They can be motivated by so many different reasons. They may be motivated by biological needs, psychological needs, or any other just monetary gain or situational reasons. Okay? But we don't know who they are. Before they can actually commit a crime, or before they can actually be caught by our current system, they are unknown offenders out there. Okay? They try to penetrate our system. They try to use other crime opportunities to gain something. Okay. Second element, we need to have a target. Okay. And this target can be a person, can be a place, or it can be an object. Okay. But how can we determine suitable target? Well, you will say based on cumulative factors. Okay. First, value. Is that valuable? How much money I can get? Is this activity lucrative? Can I get money or gold or diamonds, right? Or we can think about accessibility. Is that easy access? Okay. Compare a situation, say if I try to act as a woman, single beauty woman, walk alone at night, and compare another situation, again, single woman, very pretty, working in downtown area in commercial district. How can I actually access my target? Right. And also, we need to think about visibility. Okay. Whether or not my activity will be covered or will be spotted by police. We'll call the police authority their attention. We try to hide, be low profile, low key all the time, right? If I were a criminal. Right. Third element, absence of guardianship. Okay. So in terms of a criminal justice system, simply put in this way, we have a strong formal social control mechanism, police presence, police patrol, even our legal authorities. Right? We use all these different punishment, crime control policies to try to stop, try to prevent, try to deter potential criminal activities, or try to prevent all these criminal opportunities. Okay. Or besides this kind of formal social control mechanism, we also want to address informal social control mechanism, our personal relationship. Do you have a good relationship with family, with your friends, with your cohort? All these things can help us and help us to, in a very good, safe environment, prevent any further harm. Or we can say whether or not you live in a good neighborhood. Do you know your neighbors? Seriously? Do you know who they are? Okay. whether or not you live in a decent environment compared to any disadvantaged areas. Okay? Because the statistics already show, compared to all these people who those live in the disadvantaged areas compared to those people who live in a decent areas. Of course, you can kind of good idea about the potential victimization. Okay. So after Cohen and Felsen gave these 3 elements of crime, routine activity theory has soon been widely expanded to explain all different types of victimization and potentially how the different groups possess with the different characteristics will associate with different rates of victimization. Okay. So some people start to say, well, your lifestyle, that's matter. Your social roles matter. Your everyday routines matter. Your occupation is matter. Your job is matter. Right? Think about this. So if you are all professor in here, compare if you have a side job as a bodyguard. You put yourself in different potential risk, right? Or if we consider criminal as a career, we talk about career criminals. Use an example as prostitutes. So if you work as a sex worker compared to me, work as a professor, you will see the different risk. Right? Or think about your leisure activities. How would you spend time when you are not working? You are an outgoing person, or you always stay at home, or you hang out with friends, drinking at the bar probably. You have Friday night event, watching football, soccer again, or you actually do sports. Those things affect your potential likelihood of victimization. So these all matters, and it depends on what kind of social roles you play. If you are in high end in here, like president, right? You have bodyguard around you. Compare, I'm just nobody, and was born in the disadvantaged areas, and probably I will be mocked all the time on the street. So these things will affect our environment, your odds of being victimized all the time. Okay. Not even mention we are under this impact of modernization. We start to travel far away to engage more activities, because majority of people will not actually stay at home, I believe. You probably travel to Minneapolis to shop, okay? Great Mall, America, it's a good place, right? Find a sushi place in there, right? So these things create a special distance to put us to engage more potential criminals out there, because we don't know who they are, right? If we probably come across some potential perpetrators or offenders that we don't know who they are. And you may heard the common expression say, well, this is a guy just show up in the right spot at the wrong time. That's why this guy got robbed on the street. But if you think questions differently, from criminals thinking, yeah, exactly, he showed up in the right spot, right time. That's why I can rob this guy, right? So we actually interact with the criminals every day. We share the same physical environment. Okay. Modernization not just enhance this kind of chance to engage with potential criminals out there. It also makes us become more valuable than before. Use this as an example. So if I'm a criminal, I tried to rob a student 50 years ago, what can I get? Probably very little money, a whole bunch of textbook, and then probably a calculator if he studied at math, right? But compare now, I rob any student at Eau Claire, what can I get? Probably still little money, a whole bunch of textbook, and again, calculator, study as math again. But I will get iPhone, I will get Apple Watch, I will get iPad, I will get laptop, I will get the headphones. I will get more portable goods. Those things increase target values. But don't forget that modernization not just change our physical environment to engage with more criminals, or not just help us to increase our personal values that we can carry more portable goods with us. We also create another cyberspace. We put a lot of intangible properties in cyberspace. Right. Digitalization, you know that, right? Right now we transfer everything into electronic format. We create a cyberspace. We use internet, right? We use the internet to link our everyday life in cyberspace, in a virtual environment. But in this environment, we have a lot of properties. You use your phone, your laptop to access your stock, to check your student grades, to do your homework, probably for students, because my student use the laptop. Very tiny screen to do the statistics. I say, no, it's not the way to do that. Okay. And you upload all the files to Edge Drive. Probably use that, or I use iCloud. You storage all this kind of information, probably in Dropbox or other different storage format. You can use your phone, your laptop to control everything. I use my phone to do the PowerPoint. I use my phone to monitor my home environment. Okay, you can use your phone to open your car or lock your car right now. So we are in this environment. We are in cyberspace. But use another example. If we talk about optical fiber communication, okay, the internet not just change our world. Okay, take a look at an example. One fiber can transmit the encyclopedia of 50 million words across the Pacific Ocean with less than 1/10,000th of a second. What does it mean? It not just highlight how fast we can carry a big data, but it also tells us we are in a cyberspace with no boundaries. We are in a borderless environment. You can be literally in everywhere in cyberspace, globally, internationally. But why this is so important? Because all these things is not just change our physical environment, it also change criminals, their activities. Okay, so we have so many different criminal activities, but I try to narrow it down, only focus on ATM attacks. Traditionally, how they actually stole the money. Well, I can use the physical force, right? I can literally move ATM machine, put it on my pickup truck, and smash it, get money later. Or I can use the fake key to open the valve in here to get the money. Or you may have a story say, well, they can install the fake reader car machine, so they can read your car information directly. Or they can hide a small, tiny surveillance camera around the control panel. Again, they can capture your card information, capture the image of your PIN numbers. But from this very convenient internet, use the virtual network. Right now, criminals just need to hack into the system and wait for the next customer to use ATM. They can either deposit, withdraw, or transfer money. And they can just need to fake the fake transition. So you will be tricked and you don't know. Okay. But recently, in the late 2015, we found that all these criminals, they try to use jackpotting strategies. Well, they're still in network, but they are no longer to wait for the next customer. They literally change ATM machines into jackpot machines. They force ATM spit out money directly. Think about this. On average size ATMs, if all the cash cassettes are full, they have around 200,000 cash on average. But of course, the bank will not put that money for each ATMs, usually no more than $10,000. But based on different location and season, they will adjust the amount. Say if this is location for business district, or if the location have a lot of tourists, ATM will maybe have more money. But even for it's a low season, say it's not a Christmas season, it's not a shopping season, probably they will be lower than $10,000. So if I can use or possess these techniques, I will become a billionaire in here, right? Then I don't need to work. But in reality, I can't, right? So jackpotting strategies has been widely used by a very famous crime organization we call Cobalt Group. Cobalt Group, they use this jackpotting strategy. Allegedly, they already infiltrated more than 100 financial institutions in 40 countries, stolen more than 1.2 billion cash by using this strategy, include United States. We make this for the headline in 2018. Okay. Secret Service still try to investigate this case, but I did not hear anything further. So I assume they still try to investigate the current case. Taiwan, in 2016, Cobalt Group, they tried to attack 41 ATM machines belong to First Commercial Bank. They successfully stole around 2.7 million cash within 1 day. Okay. And why I want to highlight Taiwanese case? Taiwan is true, is one of dozens of countries being targeted by Cobalt Group. But Taiwan is the first state to successfully arrest, prosecute, and sentence 3 criminals of the Cobalt Group in prison. Second, Taiwanese authority, they only use 6 days to recover around 90% of stolen money, approximately around 2.4 million cash. Third, Europe and Interpol, they use the evidence presented by Taiwan, such as forensic analysis in computer crime and other investigation information. They successfully arrest suspected leader behind this in Spain last year. So right now, if legal authorities or other law enforcement authority, they try to investigate case related to jackpotting, these strategies, they use Taiwanese analysis as a basic framework. Okay. So if we break down all the process for ATMs hacking by using jackpotting strategies, use First Commercial Bank as an example, we can find 4 different steps. Okay. First, we found a hacker. They start their hacking planning and preparation in Switzerland. And then they find a very weakness spot in London. London will become the first infected spot. They try to further infiltrate FCB's Taiwanese intranet. The reason they try to intrude the financial systems intranet is because they want to gain control over all these servers in order to take control for ATM. Okay. All these servers, they can only send the signals and program can be directly read by ATM. So in order to control ATM, they need to control server first. And this server is in intranet. Okay. So how can hacker actually go to these servers? They think, well, how about if I can get the credentials from all these servers? So they send out spear phishing emails to all these administrators if they have security clearance for all these servers. Once they get the clearance and the credentials, they can put at least 2 malicious programs and can be read by ATM machine. First, cash dispensing. That's important because I need to ask ATM to spill out all this kind of money. And the second, they try to wipe all the potential digital footprint. So they try to wipe out all the trace. At the attack day, Cobalt Group, they sent 22 suspects to Taiwan and asked them stand in front of ATM machine. Just wait to money. That's easy, right? That's done. After that, they just need to do the next step to change all this money into a Bitcoin or other cyber currency, and they can use it to do money laundering. So this is kind of basic framework, and all other jackpotting strategies, or the MO, they all similarly follow this pattern. And Europe already posted its on their website already. Okay. But how can we apply routine activity theory that we just discussed? Okay. So from here we can see this is FCB ATMs hacking. Okay. Hackers out there, just like offenders out there, they may be motivated by so many things. In here, clearly we think it's money. Right? They want to have some this good amount of money. They have their skills. They plan ahead. From the first penetration out until the day they actually complete attacks, they use 6 weeks to prepare all these kind of hacking strategies, get the credentials from administrator of servers, and they eventually put the malicious programs into ATM. They use 6 weeks to prepare. I don't think it's really long, but it's manageable time, right? Target in here. We found all these hackers, they are not randomly target any types of ATM machines. They only target very specific type, PC 1500XE. They identify these specific model with potential security issues that can be easily remotely controlled by hackers. But interesting thing is, you may wonder, well, probably it's only Taiwan use this. No, this is globally brand. This machine has been used globally, everywhere. So if you are a hacker and you can find thousands of ATMs out there, and you can repeat exactly the same procedures. Wow. Valuable, right? Lucrative gains, that's good, right? Attract you to find out more ATM machines, right? If the financial institution, they use this type. Wow, probably you're watering your mouth. Wow, I have more money now, right? And of course, lacking awareness. Before they actually launch attack, everything as usual. They won't hurt their customers, their transactions. They won't cause any damages. Business is as usual. You don't know the hacker already in your system. Just wait for the day coming. So you just don't know. And before Taiwanese case, no one knows what's going on. Probably they lose some money, but they don't know. Is it a random case or something wrong? Because they did not catch anyone. So no one will actually know. Probably they will send an alarm or send alert. But again, before the attack day, everything just fine. So how can all these financial institutions can prevent this? And for hackers themselves, it's not complex. They just need to install at least 2 malicious programs to ask ATM, speed up money, and then wipe all the trace. But don't forget that the third element we still try to mention is about security, guardianship. You will think, well, for all the ATM machines or for financial institutions, they do have their security. That's true, right? They have their computer security defense system. They can upgrade the firewall, right? They have all these things. So for the physical security equipment, it's easier to update. As long as you have enough money, budget, you can keep upgrading. Right? But the one thing probably we forget is personal-based infected spot. We are vulnerable. Why we are vulnerable as an individual? Because we have our online routine activities. We have our online behaviors. Right? You go shop online. You use online banking assistance. You review a lot of different internet web pages. Probably you download some piracy music, or even though you say, well, it's not piracy, but you download a lot of things, softwares, or review some pictures, access social medias. All these things create your own routines online. And all these things can become a potential infected spot. Think about this. We do have security training, right? We try to teach people say not to open some suspicious emails that you never recognize. This is a typical social engineering. But why this is still active? Because people make mistake. Sometimes you click on something that you don't know, probably you won't feel that, but you already open a back door of your computer system. And the hacker can get in and steal out information from your computer, and you never know it. Or use it as a jump board to other systems. You won't feel you lose anything. You won't feel you got affected. No. But this is an effective spot. They use your system to prepare further penetration to other systems. So that's why our online behaviors will affect the overall security for any institution. Because we are in the institution to work with machine and people together, right? We need to operate all the computer, all other machines, right? So we will affect how we do it. Sometimes when people at the workplace, I believe I will still open some YouTube. I will watch YouTube. I will still access Facebook from my workstation, right? And you are doing the exactly same thing when you're at home. Use your home computer, do the schoolwork, right? So your behavior is the same. That this puts a risky situation for all of us. Okay. So, based on routine activity theory, if we cannot control offenders out there, because we don't know who they are, right? Before we actually catch them, before they can be caught by our authorities. We don't know. They are unknown offenders. So if we cannot control offenders, then how can we improve our overall cybersecurity? And then probably you already get an idea. We can improve our guardianship, right? Try to remove all the potential weakness spot from ATMs or for other computer or equipment that we use. Upgrade all these firewall or computer defense systems, right? So probably we can do that. But the one thing that from our research, we try to highlight one thing. In terms to understand cybersecurity, we try to address wooden bucket theory. Okay. Probably you're already very familiar with this. The capacity of water in a barrier is determined by the length of wooden plank. So we have 3 different lengths in here. Which one you will use? Longest. But from the wooden bucket theory, they talk about the overall capacity of water for this barrier. It depends on shortest plank. Because if you use the longest one, the lowest one is still leaking, right? So you cannot actually use the longest one to determine the overall capacity of water. But this is a good idea is we try to move up. We try to fix the shortest wooden plank to the average length. And eventually we want to use the longest plank to boost up the capacity of water, to increase the capacity of water. Exactly same thing applies to cybersecurity. We try to identify the weakest spot, weakest link for the entire system. We are not trying to identify the strongest one. We try to identify the weakest spot. And the least weakest spot can be contributed by 3 different places. If you have very low physical defense security, say we don't upgrade our software, we don't install any email spam filter, we don't check diagnostic for any malicious programs for every computer. Because just like I mentioned, if the hacker already in your system, you don't know, because sometimes it won't affect you all the time. but the malware function already be there. They already open the back door. So that's why something we need to routinely check our computer. Or right now, I just upgrade my Mac in my office. I just learned from our IT security. They block Apple Store. So you can download any application from Apple Store. So they need to physically block certain site, prevent you use it. So that's we talk about physical defense system or environment. Second thing is the weakest spot probably contributed by our training, personnel training. The personnel training is not just about the IT staff because they have this kind of knowledge already. It's about all these common users, like you and me. We need to be trained very well. I think we do have this kind of mandatory training, right? And they will print you out a certificate. But when you do that first time, you will say, well, it's ridiculous how it can happen, right? And it takes you 10 minutes to finish, probably. Okay? But this is the problem. We don't think it will happen. We won't think, well, it will cause the damage that seriously. Right? So how can we change people's awareness of potential cyber victimization? Probably you won't lose anything, but you already be exploited by hackers or be exploited by some other cyber criminals out there, but we don't know. The third one is the most difficult part. Our non-workplace online behaviors. Non-workplace. In where? At restaurant, in hotel, at airport, at home. All the equipments you use during non-workplace. Just compare your device. Will you upgrade your security system all the time? Probably not. I don't have that money. Will you keep updating, say, Microsoft Word all the time? Probably not. But your workstation at home, at school, excuse me, will be upgraded all the time. But the non-workplace equipment, first, you won't upgrade that very often. You will keep using it to download something that you are not sure. As long as it's free, wow, right? That's important. Free is important. Right? Third, Wi-Fi connection. A lot of time when you use Wi-Fi in restaurant, at airport, that's the most dangerous spot. Because all this Wi-Fi did not be protected very well. They have very low security mechanism. Okay? And if the hacker wants to use that, they can just wait online. When you try to put any personal information, try to access your school account, you need to put the credentials, right? They will use that time to penetrate your system. So, consequently, we become the most vulnerable spot, infective spot. Not even mention you use Wi-Fi to do your work. We have a lot of online activities. I can read books online, right? I can use online teaching, use online education, online shopping, everything online. They are not related to your work. Let's relate to your daily life. Online chat rooms, post all these kind of messages on social medias, chit-chat with your friends, even use the Google phone or use a Wi-Fi free phone, something like that. That's your online behaviors, but it's become a part of our routines now. So our routine online create another special distance with more criminals out there. And this put us in a dangerous environment. If we did not know, they have potential dangerous people watch us, right? They are waiting for opportunities. Okay, so identify the weakest spot for security and try to improve it, just like this bucket, right? You want to move it up. Okay, so this is my presentation for today. I think we're just on time, right? 5 minutes.
For questions.
I have a good time control, right?
Thank you very much.
But why was Taiwan so effective?
Not just Taiwan, because we use that specific machine, that number, ATM. They just try to find out which country have used that ATM model, and then they will become a potential target. And then we are just luckily become one of them, because they already targeted more than 40 countries. We just one of them. Use that particular
So they
machine.
found a vulnerability in one particular machine, and they're
Yes.
the ones that had it.
Mhm.
But why did Taiwan succeed
In catching.
in catching them? Yeah,
Well,
and recovering.
That's a really good question. So compared to other countries, first we are in an island. We can isolate. So they neither need to fly in or take boat, right? Second, Taiwan majority was Chinese, right? And suddenly we have 22 European tourists coming, right? And in general routine, if you watch some foreigner instead from you and withdraw money, it causes you suspicious, right? If they act normally. But usually, based on our community policing in Taiwan, we always have the sign put on the ATM machine. You need to report any suspicious foreigners or other people come from different areas, call police. So some, I will say, zealous people call the police and say, hey, something wrong, and then they look very suspicious. That's why we try to follow these suspects. And eventually found out, whoa, they actually stole a lot of money. And from then, we start to be aware, well, we have 41 ATM machines across in different provinces and different cities. And then they all report a similar incidents. Then we still to think, oh, this is a large scale things, and then we need to put the resource together to invest in this kind.
So I can't believe that First Commercial Bank was the only one, and you mentioned there were other banks that had that particular ATM.
Yes.
How was the heist and the ATM number communicated to the other banks, or was it?
Because they only targeted that specific ATM number, okay? And actually, this kind of open secrets on the internet already. People know if they are in this business, they already know that model have some security issues, okay? But they don't believe they will be heist.
They knew, the banks that used those ATM knew that was a vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And just didn't believe it.
Because you need to think, if I'm a company, I'm the First Commercial Bank, and hypothetically I own 4,000 ATMs. How much money I need to upgrade for each machine? Probably I still work on that. I already try to put some resource on that, but I cannot simultaneously to upgrade 4,000 machines at one time. It needs time to build the progress. So that's why we can explain that's why only 41 ATM machines get touched, because probably these 41 kind of left behind. They have not yet upgraded the system yet. That's why that's a good opportunity to find out what kind of ATMs haven't fixed this issue yet. Yeah.
So you attribute catching the criminals to good community policing,
Mm-hmm.
that there's good communication between the police and the
Citizens.
citizens.
But this is just the front end story, right? Because once we capture these three criminals, you don't know what's going on, because they don't know what's going on. They just receive the instruction, say, hey, you need to stand in front of the ATM machine and get money. So they don't know what's the actual plan behind this, they are not the hackers. They are just the, we say, money mules, backmen to collect money only. They are low-level criminals. So if you try to investigate them or integrate them, they tell you nothing. So that relies on the further computer forensic. So the legal authority actually collect all the 41 ATM machines, get into that, try to find out all the different, we say, digital footprint, even though they try to wipe out. But I would say Taiwanese authority have very good forensic analysis evidence skills in cybercrime. That's why they can figure out what's going on and what kind of mistakes they made. Okay. If criminals, they did not make any mistakes, we cannot catch them. But among these 41 ATM machines, they made one mistake in one machine. Because that files failed to wipe out the entire trace. They still left something lead for us. So that's why we need to base on some luck, right? If we don't rely on when the criminals will make mistake, then we can never actually arrest all the criminals. Because if they can successfully wipe out all the trace, then we won't have the case just like now.
So I was sort of relieved to hear that, cyber criminals are hacking possibly my computer, but I won't get hurt, and my money won't get stolen.
Probably not.
So, like, what incentive is there for, like, if I'm the shortest plank and I'm the person that needs training, what incentive is there for me to care to do the training?
Your personal identity.
True, but if it's, I mean, if it's like I'm on the university computer and yes, I'm using it for my own like purposes too or something, like, I don't know, if my money's not being stolen at some point and they're going after some university data, whatever is valuable, which, what is that in the university setting? But I feel like people don't really have that incentive or would care that much.
Yeah, because
Why they force us to do this?
yeah.
Right.
Because 90% of American they has been reported recent based on the FBI's report, they have been suffered from identity theft. That's exactly from the personal base. Okay, from your personal information that you think is not useful for them, you think is not valuable for them. But start with the personal information, they can start to getting your sensitive information. And then that will become a very valuable asset. I'm not saying that you are not a good target, but based on their evaluation, compare I can hack to the high end or through your network to other personnel who will be your friends, right? And if you know some very high-end rich people, and you have emails, phone numbers, Facebook, they use you to find out other potential vulnerability. Of course, you won't feel anything because they decide, okay, you are not a good target, right? Why I need to waste a lot of effort on you? But through your network, Facebook friends, Twitters, all these things, I can collect personal information. For the cybercrime, the most important thing is about information. Information is valuable. It's weightless. It can be carried for everything. It can turn the information into any valuable things. Because all the information you think is useless, but for them, will be another way to penetrate the computer, will be another way to access another people's personal files. Or I can even use personal information to change people's identity. Probably it won't affect you, but affect other potential valuable targets.
Well, 200 of us have their identity stolen through the
Insurance
Anthem hack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Yeah, because if you just have a single case, that's not that much. But once I can get aggregate case, 100, 1,000, 10,000, that's huge money. That's a lot. So that's why cybercrime right now is so serious, and people will always think, well, I won't be that one.
Hard to get motivated. That's
Yeah.
what you're saying. I want to use my phone when I'm in the restaurant. It tells me this is not secure, but that doesn't prevent
doesn't-
me
yeah,
from
yep.
using it. So I guess we better wrap it up.
Yep.
Thank you so
Thank you for
much.
coming. Thank you.